Hey guys, VicHD here. Now we're checking out Leah Hacking Destiny. This is also a request from the developer Orub Game Studio, also published by the same studio, and Go Games Interactive. This is a indie roguelike that is currently multi-platform. Here's the description of the game overall. In a post-apocalyptic world where machines have taken over the planet, the humans left behind now fight to survive, hunted by oppressive robotic patrol. Fight, hack, and become the resistance. Humanity's hope is in your hands. The game has a post-apocalyptic setting. The main protagonist of the game, called Leah, she's kind of this de facto leader of a bunch of freedom fighters and has to fight off these robots that have taken over the planet. And since this is a roguelike, this is one of those games where you have to go through these procedurally generated maps and try to level up and power up your character along the way and try to see if you can reach the end without getting killed. The game itself does have like some peculiar quips, like rescuing cats that eventually give you some rewards later on, or it has this captcha feature that we normally see online where it's a security code kind of thing, and considering how the character is basically a hacker, you eventually do unlock certain features later on. So I have played a little bit of this, but let's just go through a new game so you can get the gist of it overall. Since Megacorp took over, life on Earth just kept getting worse. In the end, the planet became uninhabitable, and their solution was to abandon it. The company built millions of rockets so we could start fresh on what they called Earth 2.0. They organized every person's names into a big list, and little by little, most of humanity left. But one day, they ran out of rockets, and we got left behind. That's when Megacorp's robots started patrolling the cities and attacking us. Now I'm on my own, barely scraping by and trying to stay off the patrol's radar. So being a roguelike, you do have this little introductory just to show you how the controls work. Start off with a basic jump. Also have a double jump. Just by crouching, you do go down. You can wall jump. So it is very beneficial to do wall jumps because you can also do a double jump in the process. You attack with Y. This thing has two attacks. The short range and the long range, which are projectiles. You'll eventually see that later on. Yeah. You shoot with the X button, as you can see. And for the most part, you have to dodge the security cameras. Either dodge or destroy them, depending. When you enter the camera's line of sight, your threat level will start to rise. Once the bar is full, the threat level increases, making the game harder. Level 1 hazards are activated, level 2 more enemies appear in rooms, and level 3 sentinel spawns to hunt you down. So there is a difficulty curve here, depending on the threat level of the camera. The percentage bar on the lower part of the screen, that's the bar that you have to keep an eye on, because you will be monitored by the cameras, and the more you get caught, the trickier it eventually gets as you move forward. So you have the option to do a short range or a long range attack. You can also dash. So when it comes to like cameras that are very hard to reach, it's best to just dodge them instead. So the other option would be just to dash with the R button here, or R1. It's always necessary to open any crate or boxes just in case if there's any loot to pick up. And once you eliminate all the threats, the camera's shut off, so you can continue normally. So it can get a little tricky trying to navigate through all these rooms without the alarms going off. At 57, gotta be careful. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, there's the threats off. Okay, security check. To access the threat level controls, one must prove they are a bona fide robot. So we have to see which one of these are dogs and not cookies. I'm not a fan of the captcha, I'm sorry. I deal with that a lot, and it's kind of a pain. Damn, what was that? Looks like some kind of shockwave. It knocked out all the robots at the same time. I think it came from the warehouse. The introductory course here of the controls kind of takes you to the base game at this point. Another cat in a cell. Third time this week. Why would Megacorp ever need to lock up a harmless animal like that? And for those curious, I do have a cat at home. I have a dog and a cat. And here we have the group of misfits, the freedom fighters. Oh look, here's another one. Whoa, it's been so long since I've seen someone who's not a robot. Did that shockwave come from here? Yep, Looks like it came from this little busted thing here. Some kind of capsule, huh? That Jordan must have been carrying it before it crashed, by the looks of it. Look, there's so many strange machines inside. Quite a bit of supplies, too. These are going to be very helpful. Whoa, so they knocked out the robots and dropped us food? Who's trying to help us out? Huh. Maybe this hologram thing it can tell us. Looks like it's still in decent shape. Let's see. If you're hearing this message, I want to know... If you're hearing this message, I want you to know there's still hope. There are hundreds of rockets left from the Great Migration. It won't be easy, but there's still a way to leave the planet. To launch a rocket, you're going to need a super reactor. They're built at Megacorp's headquarters, one of the most heavily guarded places left. You're going to need to go through 4 massive industrial bases to get there. I've sent a little device in the capsule to help. It's called a teleport bracelet. It should help with navigation. It can also yank the user out instantly if things get too dangerous, teleporting them to safety. I'm sorry that Megacorp has abandoned you. I provided in this capsule everything you'll need to fight and leave this world for good. Good luck. This whole thing sounds kind of sus. I can try accessing the capsule's data to trace where it came from. But the crash scrambled everything. The components are all fried. If one of you can fix the hardware, I can get the info. Ah, you can leave that part to me. That's my whole thing. I can patch up old chips, motherboards, microwaves, bicycles. Ha! Nice. You can do that and I'll go grab the bracelet and beat the crap out of those robots at the base. Yeah, no, that's not happening, Lucas. Look, my grandpa was in the uprisings. He taught me how to fight and shoot. I think you can leave that to me. Oh, come on now. What am I just supposed to do? Sit here and wait around while you take care of everything? No, honey, there's other ways to help. If she's fighting, I'm gonna have to treat her wounds, aren't I? We can go haul that hibernation tank you found and gather some more medical gear for her. Oh yeah, and I could use some help too, that's for sure. Capsule's gonna be a lot of work. No way I can handle it all by myself. With robots down, we can set up a base here without too much trouble. We're all gonna have plenty to do. Alright then, let's get to it. This warehouse is perfect. I spent plenty of nights on that broken bus over there. The seats are more comfortable than they look. So here we have the main hub world where we have the cast here. Let's see. Yo, check it out. We built a trading station out of some junk we found. What do you mean a trading station? Well, so I can teach you some moves. I saw you practicing earlier and you looked all clumsy and awkward. Yes, the game does have a leveling up system, typical of roguelikes, where depending on where you actually power up, it increases power, aim, dexterity, speed, technique, vigor. That all varies depending on your own personal preference. It's going to be a little tricky to balance these out because they all have different functions, different abilities. Have I played roguelikes before? Yes. The only one that I finished so far, the only ones I think would be just 20XX and maybe Vampire Survivors if you count that one too. But that's a whole different scenario. This one's more like a 2D roguelike. Now this is the hub world. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Mega Man Zero in a way. It'll be the pixel artwork. Sometimes the cats can bring you some special things here that you can use later on. The characters here are usually for like quick upgrades that you can get later on in the game. Whenever the character dies, she usually respawns here like it was in this capsule that looks like it came out of Dragon Ball Z. And you eventually do get other power-ups along the way that you can get by interacting here with other characters like Samantha, or Arlene, or Gerald. But to show you the gameplay overall, let's see. And by the way, the character, yes, it is a female. Very tomboyish looking. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Ash Ketchum. But it's Ash Ketchum meets Winter Soldier or Edward Elric in a way. It's because of the mechanical arm. Now the levels are procedurally generated, so that means that every run is going to be a little different. And one thing that you have to be careful is that early on, your character's going to take a lot of hits. Like, sometimes you could take blows that are maybe like 30, 40 points, and your health could be depleted immediately. The closest I could probably compare it to is maybe Dead Cells. And I played a little bit of it one time when it was available on the Switch. It was this try before you buy scenario, and I hope to one day actually get that game. I will admit the whole roguelike concept, I mean, it has been growing on me over the years. There was a time where I kind of confused roguelikes with Metroidvanias, but whatever. Sometimes traversing these platforms and not getting shot or not getting caught by the cameras can be a little tricky to navigate. Oh, and by the way, every time when you beat a stage, or a room in this case, you have the option to upgrade a weapon. So it's either longsword or flamethrower. Let's go flamethrower this time. Nice. Maybe a little short range, but it does a lot of damage. Start your runs with 200 cyber dollars. Okay. So you do eventually buy upgrades. Not just get the upgrades, but buy them eventually. As you progress through the game. Jeez. Close. Better to be safe than sorry. Right. Let's get the key. Sometimes it can be very tricky to navigate these type of levels. Because it's either avoid getting caught or avoid getting killed. You will eventually see icons like on the screen indicating where the next enemies are. So that's always important. You do have the option to go back and pick your weapons if you want. Completely up to you. I'm sticking with the flamethrower because it's been very helpful. Okay, let's go. Sending resources. That'll be beneficial later on. Power up station. What can I afford right now? Sharpened blade, tactical fury. Tactical fury. That's what I can afford. Roguelikes have really grown on me over the years. Let's see. Let's go for the neon saber. Oh, I got a lightsaber. Sometimes it's a little hard to aim with a weapon because you can only aim left and right. You can't aim up and down. When it comes to procedurally generated maps, the first one that really comes to mind is Binding of Isaac. Yeah, subtle reference to the Nokia phone. Funny how nowadays, like, the Nokia phone has gotten a lot more recognition because of how durable it was. I mean, you could throw it off a 10-story building and it would still work. But that was like the old school phones, not like the smartphones you see today. We're gonna avoid the electrical shocks. But it's eliminated. Okay, we're doing great. Another captcha. Let's see, ice cream. This one, this one. Rack. That one was trickier, to be honest. Like, you really need to think fast when it comes to, like, separating the difference between Rocky Road and a Dalmatian. Seriously, I curse the guy who invented the captcha. Gotta be careful. Ah! Surprisingly, this was my longest run. And I got it recorded. And yes, the character respawns like something out of Dragon Ball. You do eventually get the other gadgets that help you out along the way. So this reminds me a little bit of like 20XX in that regard, because every time when you start a new run, you do have other beneficial power-ups that you can get. Mostly dialogue, exposition. But she just gives you the stats overall of what you have accomplished in the game. Lucas is the one that buffs you up along the way, giving you more experience points at the cost of how much you managed to save up on the previous mission. Always check on the cat. They're always going to bring you something extra. Sometimes the robots can be a nuisance, especially when they all gang up on you. Oh, right, and another thing I forgot to mention is that there is a cooldown meter here when it comes to using the projectile. So meaning that after you use the rounds, you have to wait until it reloads automatically. If we do have to be nitpicky, like the first sword that you have in the game, very short range. But you eventually get better weapons along the way, so that's just part of the experience. Sometimes it can be annoying to navigate and dodge at the same time like this. You're trying to shoot like 4 enemies and you have to keep an eye on the security camera. Yeah, good shot. Just like in Doom. You shoot a barrel, that thing blows up. Increase range. I need more ammo here. Eventually I'll power up other things too. Ah, you son of a... Oh, that threw me off. Sorry, the cameras threw me off like the first time I entered that room. If you give me the right parts, I'll have the processing power to really mess with their bases. Take a look. More base upgrades as you progress with the game. The keys remind me of Doom because you have to get like these colored keys to usually open different rooms in the games, but in this one it's used for a different mechanic. It buffs up your main weapons and other abilities. I do have to say, like, the cooldown process of the gun, it can get annoying. I get it. It adds to the challenge, but that's just me nitpicking. Because I'm usually want to just fire away at anything. And you have to be careful not to waste all the bullets, otherwise you'll be left wide open for the enemies. But in roguelikes, you do have to get good. So get good, bro. Freaking cooldown. You have to reload. Doesn't help when you start off with a pea shooter of a gun. Well, there you have it. Leah hacking Destiny. Roguelikes have grown on me over the years, and if you're interested in roguelikes, this might be right up your alley. Fun challenge, I like the pixel artwork. Overall, the game is actually pretty fun. The game is available on all platforms. Steam, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. Pick it up while you can. It does get a little annoying at first, considering how the base weapons are very weak. You have basically like a short dagger and a pea shooter of a gun. But eventually, as time goes on, you do get upgrades, you do get other power-ups and other benefits that help you along the way. And it's one of those games where, in typical roguelike fashion, you have to go through the entire run and just hope to God that you somehow reach the final boss and reach the end of the game. Because I've been through the similar scenarios playing with games like Binding of Isaac or Dead Cells, 20XX. But yeah, I do recommend this game. Feel free to pick it up if you're interested. The game runs really well on the Switch, so I'll give it that. Yeah, I highly recommend the game. Likely give it maybe an 8 out of 10 at best. Could be a little tedious at times in terms of difficulty, because it's either dodge the cameras, or fight the enemies, or sometimes wait until the weapon reloads. So there's a lot of factors that are just adding to the challenge. But yeah, that about does it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the review and the playthrough and the first look. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll keep you guys posted for any upcoming video reviews and other stuff going forward. So thanks for watching, and take care. Bye.